Well, hello, and welcome to week one of our series on identity, creating a God centered identity in a me centered world. In this first week, we're going to be considering three aspects of our identity as it is created. Our identity created. And this first lesson, I want us to consider how we are creatures of the Creator. We are creatures of the Creator. You see, this reality of who we are as creatures of God is one of the most foundational to our identity. Our very existence is radically God centered, but the world has seemed to reject this truth and seems to tell us that we should create ourselves. You and I can decide who we want to be. It's up to you to create your own identity. I came across this fitness and well being blog entitled, Why It's Time to Stop Finding Yourself and Start Creating Yourself. And the author writes this: We aren't here to all follow the same route on the map. We are here to create our own, to choose where we start, how long it takes us, how fast we travel, and most importantly, our final destination. Now, this sounds appealing, but can we actually create ourselves? It's true in one sense that everyone is unique. We each have different experiences, and we're not all meant to be exactly the same. But can this work of creating myself really provide a stable sense of identity? What's going to happen to the person who is constantly striving to create their own sense of identity? Do you ever get to your final destination? Do you ever come to a place where you finally created yourself and now you know who you really are? Friends, the fact is that we cannot create ourselves. There's simply too many factors, if you think about it, too many things in our lives that we're just not in control of. Where and to whom we were born, for instance, or the unexpected job change or move, certain medical conditions that arise, or even our own abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. The reality is that God is essential to our identity because the Bible tells us that we are created, not by ourselves, but by a creator God. We are creatures of God. Genesis 1:1, right in the very beginning, here we see it. God created the heavens and the earth from nothing. And then later in that same chapter, verse 27, God created man in his own image. Male and female, he created them. And we'll unpack that verse a little bit more in the next couple segments, but for now, we need to understand that our identity is ultimately found only in the one who made us. We cannot make ourselves. We don't have the ability that God alone has. And only God can make a human life. We are simply recipients of his creative power. By virtue of being created by God, we too know that we cannot create ourselves. We're called to live out the purpose that is built into us by God. And that's actually very freeing when you think about it. Consider the pressure that it puts on people to make ourselves and our identity into whatever we think they should be. And if we're honest, we don't even know what that is. Or if we have an idea or a standard, don't we also fall short of that? Friends, the good news is that even though we all fall short of the identity that God has built into us and created into us, that he intends for us to embrace, he doesn't leave us to figure it out on our own. God himself entered into his creation. He came, the eternal Son of God, as a man like us. Jesus embraced his God-given identity and became a model of what human life really is meant to look like, what it's intended to be. And even more, he did it so that he could become our Savior, the Savior of all who trust in him. He died and was raised to life to restore us to the identity for which we were made to have, this God-given identity. So friends, I want you to understand that your true identity and where you have a solid foundation for who you are, the only place to look for that is Jesus.